We're here at the New York Auto Show with Emmy Hall.
Oh, hi.
And the new 2020 Ford Escape. This new Escape looks way different than what came before it, don't you think?
Yeah, so you got an early look at this guy, so you really know this thing in and out. But you were saying in your article that like when the Ford Escape first came out in the early 2000s, there were like 6 competitors, and now we have like 20 something?
Yeah, 20 something, and there. By the time this thing is in the middle of its life, there'll probably be about 30 of them.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. There's so many compact crossovers right now,
Yeah.
and it's hard to decipher what they all are. And Ford is really looking at this and going, well, how do we make our SUVs distinct, and how do we continue to make money on them when they're being commoditized?
So by commoditized, you mean where it's just like people are just going to go for the cheapest thing because
Right.
they're all like, they all look the same, they
Yep.
all pretty much do the same thing.
It's a race to the bottom. So
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah. So what they're doing here is this is much more, streamlined, much more aerodynamic,
Yeah.
much more car-like, to be honest with you, which sort of fits in with the fact that they're not going to be doing regular passenger cars much anymore.
You know what? I feel like these subcompact crossovers are going to get so small that eventually we're just all going to be back to cars again.
Yeah. Well, and
it's all going to be a hatchback.
So this one is a compact. It's not a subcompact.
Oh, compact.
Yeah.
Sorry, compact.
And despite the fact that it looks so much sleeker and probably a little less roomy inside, they say that it's longer, lower, wider, but it's bigger inside because they've stretched the wheelbase a little bit.
Right. And then with this, we've got a bunch of different engine options. So there is a, is it a 2-liter?
Yep, there's a 2-liter turbo.
Right, 2-liter turbo. And then, but there's also one that's just runs on 3 cylinders.
Yeah, it's a 3-cylinder 1.5-liter engine.
1.5-liter
But
engine, that's so tiny.
It's tiny, and not only can it run on 3 cylinders, it can run on 2.
Just for like gas savings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we haven't seen done before in
Yeah.
a production car in the US.
Yeah. So that 3-cylinder will get like 180-ish horsepower, I think. The 2-liter turbo should get you right around 100 and no, that was. Oh man, I'll have to check my notes.
Okay,
I'll have
that's
to
all
check
right.
my
That's
notes.
all right.
But we also get hybrid options in this, right?
You get 2 because the Escape was the pioneer hybrid. It was the
Okay.
first crossover hybrid, and now you've got a plug-in variant and just a regular plain old gas electric.
Okay.
So they're really spreading things out, and this is probably going to be a bit more expensive than what came before it. It's a little bit more premium inside, again to combat that commoditization of segment.
Right.
So. This is more car-like, but that leaves an opening because the original Escape was really kind of butch-looking.
Like you were supposed to actually escape.
Yeah, it
the
looked like
mountains in it, right?
It looked like an SUV.
Right.
And then even the one that's leaving dealerships now, that even though it was sleeker than what came before, it was still pretty angular. This is really soft, and it's not really my favorite kind of design, to be honest with you.
But I have heard there's vicious rumors. We know we're getting the Bronco. I heard that we're getting like a baby Bronco that's kind of based on this Escape. Is that going to be more angular and like more my speed?
It is. Ford has released a teaser image, but that's really about all they're saying. But we do know that they've confirmed there's a second model that's basically the same stuff underneath, the same guts, 80% commonality or thereabouts. But it'll have a very different look. I presume it'll have higher ground clearance.
Okay.
And it's going to be a bit more like of a traditional Jeep fighter, something like that.
Really? Like a little Cherokee fighter?
Something that's probably a little bit more your speed, Em.
Yeah, probably. So, and then inside here we've got our traditional, Ford has gone to these rotary dials for your gear shifts, which, I mean, I get it, it saves space in there. Plus we've got the 8-inch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of that good stuff with Sync 3. And I know that Ford does a great 360-degree suite of driver's aids, which includes adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, all of that great groovy stuff that we all love.
Yeah, they've really upped their game with what the standard safety equipment is.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you've got things like this one doesn't have it, but you can get a full digital gauge cluster.
Yeah.
And there's even something called I think they call it a quiet mode, which is sort of like the old Saab night panel, where they basically simplify the display and darken it up so that you're not distracted at night, which is kind of
really?
cool.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. Hopefully you don't fall asleep though. You're like, oh, it's quiet.
Well, that's what you got all the ADAS systems for, right? No, that's not.
No, that is not. That is totally not. Don't say any of that. Don't take any of that for reals.
No.
Anyway, all right. Well, this is pretty cool. I can't wait for the baby Bronco.
Yeah.
This will be available, I believe, in the fall. We don't have word on pricing yet.
We don't, but I would expect it to be a little bit more expensive than what's in dealerships right now, especially since they're trying to kind of spread out and make sure that they can maintain profitability here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've got all kinds of cool New York Auto Show coverage, so be sure to check that out over on theroadshow.com. And Chris also has a very thorough walk around on this guy as well, so be sure to look at that one too.
Thank you.